Hello, everybody, and welcome to another writing lesson with Mrs. Burke. Today, we're going to be discussing generating ideas for our writing using photos. If you're ready, let's get started. So, you might be asking, how can photos help me come up with ideas for my writing? Well, photos are a wonderful way to keep our memories. And you probably have photos all over your house. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to look for some photos. Now, those photos might be on a phone or a laptop or a Chromebook. The photos might be in a photo album. They could be tacked on a bulletin board at home. Like sometimes you get Christmas cards that have photos on them, so it might be like that. Or sometimes your photos are simply sitting on a desk or a table. Don't forget about photo albums and don't forget about pictures on the wall. You probably have a lot of those in your house as well. So once you find a photo or a few photos, you need to look closely at those photos. Look closely and think. What do I remember about this moment in time? What was I feeling? What was I doing? What was going on around me? Who was I with? All of these questions are really good questions to ask yourself as you're thinking back on a memory that you might want to write about. Can you imagine being back in that moment? And then the fun part, after you think of all those wonderful things from that memory that is triggered from that photo, you get to tell me all about it. So, what does this look like when you try it out yourself? I'll show you with my photos. So I took a little walk around my house. I didn't. I went on my cell phone and I downloaded all the pictures from my phone because that's where my photos are right now. And look at these photos that I found. Oh, there's my family vacation in Maine. We had so much fun. Oh, there's Mr. Burke and I on a date night without the kids. Ooh, a date night. There's me and my daughter Julia kayaking on Lake George. And there's me and my son on a hike at Stewart Forest. Wow, all of these memories, all of these photos bring back so many awesome memories. I remember being in Maine, and right after this photo was taken, we found a huge starfish under the rocks. And it was so fun to look at the starfish because they're pretty hard to find. I remember on this night with Mr. Burke, we just laughed and had so much fun. Over here with Julia kayaking, we had the greatest time in Lake George. We saw the Minnehaha when we were out kayaking, and we went really far. And here with my boy on a hike, that was a great day too. My boy is a good explorer, and he likes to find frogs and all kinds of little critters along the trail. And he found a lot of frogs that day. So when I look at these photos, they all bring back some really, really great memories. And now I need to think about, what is the memory that I want to write about? What is the memory that's so very special that I think there's a really, really good story there? Let's see. I think I have it in my head because it's a moment that I was really proud of. Are you ready for it? Ta-da! It was kayaking with Julia. And now I'm going to take a moment to tell you a little bit about this memory, because when I talk about the memory, that can help me generate those ideas that I'll write about at a later time. And boys and girls, you're going to have the opportunity to do this later on your seesaw activity. You'll be able to hold up a picture and tell me the story of the memory in that picture. So On this day in Lake George, we were so very excited. Julia and I got our very first kayaks this summer. And before this kayaking trip, we had gone out on our individual kayaks a few times, but we were always in a very quiet, serene lake, and there weren't a lot of waves. And when we went up to Lake George, we were really nervous because it's a huge lake with a lot of boats and a lot of people out there and the big Minnehaha. And we felt a little nervous about going out on the kayak. But we went out and we were so brave and we had so much fun. We even waved at everybody on the Minnehaha when the Minnehaha went by us. It was so cool. And we saw people out on boats and we waved at them. And we found this really neat little cove and we took the kayak around in the cove. And the cool thing about the cove was that the water was so clear and there were huge rocks down in the water. And we got nervous at one point because we thought the kayak was going to hit one of the rocks. And we even discovered a little secret sandbar in Lake George that we didn't know existed. So a sandbar is when you have water that's of a certain depth, but then all of a sudden it gets super shallow. And we got to the sandbar and we were, if we wanted to, we could have gotten out of the kayak and stood on the sandbar. There were some other people standing on the sandbar a distance away, but Julia was too nervous and she wouldn't let me get out of the kayak and stand on the sandbar. But that's okay because we were out there for 2 hours and we just paddled and talked and had the best time. And I took a lot of pictures too. So boys and girls, this was a moment that I was really, really proud of. And you could tell that I told you about this memory with quite a few details and a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. So when I think about this moment, I think that this would probably make a really good story for me to tell and a story for me to write about in the future. It might just be a short story where I write a paragraph about an experience, or it could work for my small moment writing if I just focus in on one of those tiny moments when we were out on the kayak and something that I experienced there. So right now, you have an opportunity to try this on your own. You're going to look around your house and you might have to ask mom or dad, grandma or grandpa, whoever your grown-up is, you might have to ask them if you need to look at their phone to find a photo. Also, you will have to ask for permission if you are taking a photo album or if you want to use a picture that's on the wall. But you should find a picture in your house and find a picture that really brings back a awesome memory. And I want you to think about the story that's attached to that picture and attached to that memory. And you're going to make a recording of yourself on Seesaw holding up that picture and telling me the story of that memory. You're not going to need your journal and your pencil for this activity. You're just going to need to record yourself and you're going to talk about it. And this can be an idea that you keep up here in your head for a future story. All right, boys and girls, as always, do your best work. And I can't wait to see what you have to say, or I can't wait to hear what you have to say.